The time has come for lions to tell I own story. Yes, you're listening to Lion's Voice. I is RasTafari hailing from the island of St. Croix. Yeah, I'm bringing to you Rastafari vibes. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Babylon born when Rasta come together. Can you feel it? Rastafari, because Babylon done when I and I come together. Look how we live together, look how we work together, Oh, Babylon done when Rasta come together. Hail I, Rastafari, His Majesty and EmpressMenen bless. Yeah man, hailing from St. Croix, Rastafari hail you.
Aye.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Once a person has decided upon his life's work and is assured that in doing the work for which he is best endowed and equipped, he is fulfilling a vital need. What he then needs is faith and integrity, coupled with a courageous spirit, so that no longer preferring himself to the fulfillment of his task, he may address himself to the problems he must solve in order to be effective. Mighty. So let's apply that to Ibrahim Traore. The brethren have taken over the country with his brethren in the military, and now the needs of the country, the infrastructure. We're gonna see, is he doing anything for infrastructure, for agriculture? What else is he doing to address the problems that he must solve in order to be effective?
Well, front to us, a son was born and a child was given.
I want to ask you a question. Have you got your book? Haile Selassie's Ethiopia Volume 1, The Rise of the Priest Warrior King. I've read the book in its entirety, and I must say it's very inspirational, very informative, and very historical, right?
Them call him Ras Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Them call him Ras Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Ras Tafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him Ras Tafari. Read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England.
All right, so we're going to read from the famous speech of His Majesty to the University College of Addis Ababa. University College of Addis Ababa predates Haile Selassie University, and it ultimately evolved into becoming Haile Selassie University. And this speech at the 6th graduation, located on page 12 of the selected speeches, is a must-read for every Rastafari man and woman, and it serves as the foundation for the Rastafari man standard that we champion here on the Lion Voice Network and as part of our Lion Pride training initiative. We are firmly all about cultivating leadership in Rastafari man to lead a prosperous and united Rastafari future. So I'm going to skip ahead in the speech. Again, I recommend everyone to read it. I'm going to skip ahead to the section that starts sense of responsibility. And we're going to use this as a metric to judge our brother Ibrahim Traore. And forgive the pronunciation in the rest of the episode. We're trying to get better. Give thanks. All right. So sense of responsibility. Glory to Word, glory to Sound, glory to the Holy One of creation, His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. All right, so leaders are people who raise the standard by which they judge themselves and by which they are willing to be judged. The goal chosen, the objectives selected, the requirements imposed are not merely for their followers alone. They develop with consummate energy and devotion their own skill and knowledge in order to reach the standards they themselves have set. This wholehearted acceptance of the demands imposed by ever higher standards is the basis of all human progress. A love of high quality, we must remember, is essential in a leader. Dependability is another requirement in a leader. To be dependable is to be willing to accept responsibility and to carry it out faithfully. A leader will always be willing to take counsel from his people, but will often have to act on what his own mind tells him is right. This demands that a leader has trained himself out of any inordinate fear of making mistakes. To embark successfully on a career involving leadership demands a courageous and determined spirit. Once a person has decided upon his life work and is assured that in doing the work for which he is best endowed and equipped, he is fulfilling a vital. This is a key, because this is how you identify your purpose. So we say purpose over that's something there. Let me read that one more time. Once a person has decided upon his life's work and is assured that in doing the work for which he is best endowed and equipped, he is fulfilling a vital need. What he then needs is faith and integrity, coupled with a courageous spirit, so that no longer preferring himself to the fulfillment of his task, he may address himself to the problems he must solve in order to be effective. Mighty. So let's apply that to Ibrahim Traore. The brethren have taken over the country with his brethren in the military, and now the needs of the country, the infrastructure. We're gonna see, is he doing anything for infrastructure, for agriculture? What else is he doing to address the problems that he must solve in order to be effective? All right, let's continue. And I'm going to jump in every now and then as we read, just to highlight the point. One mark of a great leader is that he feels sufficiently secure to devote his thought and attention to the well-being of his subordinates and the perfection of his task, rather than constantly being worried about the approval or disapproval of others. One time you would never see a Rastafari asking for ones to support their platform, because ones wouldn't do that, because we grow with the concept that money is, we don't go after money, we don't do works for money, we do it for the zeal, which is not a mature viewpoint, because we realize now that to make the work sustainable, there have to be economics in the work, or else it doesn't become sustainable. So once the work, and this is why His Majesty said, once it's fulfilling a vital need, it's not frivolous. So you're doing something worthy, you have to find the economics in there. You don't worry about people saying, look how the rest keep asking people for money. We're not worried about that. Same with Ibrahim Traore, which is saying, I'm building a nation, no matter what the Western people saying, he's a dictator, he's this, he's that, which these things they said about Thomas Sankara as well, because he had to go after the unions and the press because they were corrupted. You cannot watch that as a leader. You have to just move forward with what you know it's right. But listen to this. He who would be a leader must pay a price in self-discipline and moral restraint. This entails the correction and improvement of personal character, the checking of passions and desires, and an exemplary control of one's bodily needs and drives. Leaders have to submit themselves to a strict self-discipline and develop a more exemplary moral character than is expected of others. To be first in place, one must be first in merit as well. It should not surprise us then to find that the greater number of acknowledged leaders have been people who have trained themselves in the art of discipline and obedience. Ibrahim Traore is a military man. He served, from the ground coming up. So it's, again, it should be no surprise. And yet, to be a soldier, he has to be disciplined. He who has not learned to render prompt and willing service to others will find it difficult to win and keep the goodwill and cooperation of his subordinates. Further, and it says a leader must stay ahead. Further, a leader must possess initiative, which is the creative ability to think in new ways and do new things. A leader must always to stay ahead. He cannot afford to set up a procedure and then fold his hands and linger lazily watching it work. He cannot be content merely to see new trends and take advantage of them. He must keep his imagination vividly alive so as to originate ideas and start trends. A word of warning is in order here. To help one's subordinates and dependents at the cost of harm to the public is tantamount to sacrilege and blasphemy. This is where we burn out corruption. It is unfortunate that many in positions of leadership, both great and small, have been found guilty of such practices. A good leader is devoted to his work and will willingly forego even demands of sleep to see its accomplishment. We know about that life there. And for the brethren out there, if you kick up your foot on a bun chalice and play a video game, or you kick up your foot, watch TV and documentary, or you not pursue your purpose with vigor, you're not putting in time to manifest your purpose, then you are in a sinking sand and you will be consumed in this Armageddon non-partial judgment. You must identify and pursue your purpose. Look how much thing a leader have to deal with. You cannot deal with none of this if you don't understand what your purpose is and move to it. So that is the number one priority. Eddie, brethren, I buck up. I should ask, what's the I purpose? And you should be able to say in a sentence or two what it is. And if you cannot, that is something to work on. You know what I mean? You should have your personal mission statement. You know what I mean? Yeah. A good leader, again, is devoted to his work and will willingly forego even the demands of sleep to see its accomplishment. This does not mean that he is impetuous. On the other hand, he maintains a balance between emotional drive and sound thinking. Balance your thing. Don't use zeal and you burn out and you cannot accomplish the work. You have to rest. You have to spend time with your children. You have to make sure you impress Haile. You have to make sure, say, bills paid. Yeah, you know what I mean? You have to balance everything. Don't become a zealot because it's not sustainable and it's not scalable usually. You know what I mean? Zealots, them burn hot for a time and then them disappear. His labors, which sometimes appear excessive, derive from his firm realization that unless a man undertakes more than he can possibly do, he will never be able to do all he can do. It is his enthusiasm that stimulates his energy. No matter what our point of departure in speaking of leadership, we reach the inescapable conclusion that the art of leadership consists in the ability to make people want to work for you when they are really under no obligation to do so. A true leader is one who realizes by faith that he is an instrument in the hands of the Almighty and dedicates himself to be a guide and inspire of the noble sentiments and aspirations of the people. He will kindle interest, teach, aid, correct, and inspire. Those whom he leads will cooperate with him in maintaining discipline for the good of the group. He will instruct his followers in the goals towards which to strive and create in them a sense of mutual effort for attaining the goal. So, brethren, This is our mission right now. Our sistren, our children, our parents, the nation is dependent on the man, them, to rise, take their responsibility, rise in your purpose. I don't subscribe, even though I love to see the daughter them on the battlefield. I don't subscribe to waiting for the daughter them to rise, or you're glad because the daughter them will rise, or you sit down and kick up your foot them and watch the daughter them. I don't subscribe to that. I think the man them for lead. You know what I mean? And I must rise each other, non-partial judgment. Leadership. Is Ibrahim Traore an example? Does he inspire? Let us know down in the comments your thoughts. Does he meet these requirements? Does it make sense? Let's have the reasoning.
Yeah, well, Haile Selassie the first of the Almighty, and this is the DEJAZMATCH Kwasi. Yeah, well, this is the big bad sound trooper with wicked trooper. Yeah, we slew them all and done. Well, give thanks to Jah, the Emperor. Give thanks to the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Give thanks to Jah, the Emperor. Him never woulda let sound trooper suffer. He's the omnipotent eye, everything him see, and yet he choose to fill him people with him mercy. Light of the world, might of the Trinity, and yet he choose to fight to set the Africans free. He educate the youth, he make the youths them study. He turned his palace to a university. He tell humanity we are one family. I love Haile Selassie cause him slew me enemy, me say give thanks to Jah. Well, sound trooper say give thanks to Jah. Well, sound trooper say give thanks to Jah. The Emperor, give thanks for the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Give thanks to Jah, the Emperor. Him never woulda let sound trooper suffer. Him a the omnipotent, well excellent. Me examine the work, me see him full up a talent. Him a the magnificent, well eloquent. Him on the battlefield, look how him slew this serpent. Him fight down in a the trench, fire can't quench. Him on the battlefield, him a the people's servant. Him a me shield and defense when things get tense. Me love Haile Selassie higher than them president. Me say give thanks to Jah. Well, then give thanks to Jah.